Live from Studio B at the TWRA headquarters in Nashville, Tennessee Wildcast is on the air with your hosts, Doug and Jason.
All right, hello everybody, and welcome to this edition of Tennessee Wildcast. I'm Jason Harmon, and next to me is Mr. Doug Markham and Miss Amy Spencer. How are
Snyder.
you, Amy? Snyder?
I'm
what?
fine.
Spencer. Snyder?
Snyder Spencer.
Okay, Snyder Spencer.
We're going to figure that out today.
I'll answer either way.
All right. We're glad to have Amy in here today.
Yeah.
First time?
The first time on the show. She's been with us as an officer for a long time, but now she's the Information Education Coordinator in Region 1.
That's right. How you liking that? Better say good.
I'm adjusting to the change.
Okay.
I did enjoy missing opening morning of turkey season.
I bet you did. You're doing a great job, Amy. We're glad to have you here. Amy's actually in Nashville today to do some stuff, so we grabbed her while we could because we want to talk about alligators and other stuff. But Amy, you are, we kid you about your name, but were an officer over in Madison County,
Yes.
and you went by Amy Snyder over there.
For 17 and a half years. So
Right.
that's how everybody in Region 1 knows me. So I'll answer to Snyder, but my legal name is Snyder Spencer. So
Married to Bubba Spencer, who happens to be an officer over in Hardeman County.
yes.
Hardeman, yes.
Okay.
And we kept it separate when we were working. A lot of people
Just
didn't know we were married.
Yeah,
So if
just
we
don't want the confusion.
Right, and if we were working together, they didn't know.
Okay.
Undercover.
All right. Sort of. I guess it's sort of like that. Anyway, but now you're the information person over there. You replaced Dave Gabbard here a few months ago, who was there a long time as the information person, and you have hit the road hot, doing a lot of TV, doing a lot of newspaper, doing a lot of radio. So folks are going to know who you are over there.
I'm trying to get us out there.
Doing a good job
Doing a
with
good job,
it.
yeah. Put out a great little video the other day, some eagles on Facebook. They released an eagle.
Yeah.
Rehabbed from the Memphis Zoo, is that right? They rehabbed it there?
That was awesome.
Yeah.
I will say that's got to be one of the most unique things I've done. I've done some pretty cool things in my career, but that was pretty awesome. I mean, I've always been on the receiving end of it's injured, let's take it. I've never been on the end of let's releasing it.
Cool.
And
That's
they
awesome.
said he was feisty from the day they brought him in. He didn't want to be touched. He didn't want to be worked on, and he was feisty and ready to get out that day too.
Ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose you've done a lot of other things that, though you say you're not usually on the release end, but I bet you've released a few turkeys in your days.
No, I missed all that.
Did you now? It was behind you
That was already gone.
or before you?
Yep, I missed all that. Matter of fact, where we live now in Hardeman County was the original location that they trapped right across the road. So that was, they trapped hundreds of birds right there. And now we don't see any. We have very few. It's kind of crazy. But, the turkey population's kind of down right now. So
Yeah, they'll rebound, I think.
They'll
It'll be
rebound.
okay. We're looking at them in southern middle Tennessee. And you got some pretty good deer over there. Since we're talking about game, pretty good deer?
we do.
West Tennessee's full of big deer.
Fayette County, Hardeman County, some pockets in Madison County, we are producing some really nice 160, 170, 180 class deer. I mean, it's really changed since I started. When I first came on, almost 18 years ago, 18 years in August, we were seeing, you'd see some 120s, you'd see some 130s, except out of Hardeman and Fayette. They've always had big deer. Mm-hmm. And in the last 4 or 5 years, I'm consistently seeing guys kill 150, 160, and even bigger. That one this year out of Madison County was, 180 something?
Yeah, it was huge.
Yeah.
It was a really big deer. Seems like the last 3 or 4 years we're getting photographs of these great big West Tennessee bucks.
One of the last ones I took as an officer was 209 and change. So, we're seeing some big deer, and it's nice to see them. And young big deer. That's the key.
Okay, where'd you go to school to get your wildlife degree, where you became an officer?
UT Knoxville.
Okay, and you went there 4 years to get the degree?
No, I actually went to Maryville College.
Okay.
Played volleyball through there, and that's busy when you got trying to get a biology major. Maryville is one of 2 undergraduate schools that requires you to do a thesis before you can graduate.
Okay.
And when my thesis was in white-tailed deer, and as I was doing my thesis, I'm like, this is what I really want to do. I don't want to coach and I don't want to teach, so I switched gears and said, well, what's the quickest way I can get out of school? And I could go to UT Knoxville and get another undergrad in so many hours or get a master's, and I was like, I'm done with school. So I went the cheapest and quickest way out.
Yeah, and became an officer, and you were an officer for how long?
17 and a half years.
How many females were officer while you were there?
We're down now. I think at one time we had about 5 or 6. I was the longest one in the field until a couple months ago.
How was that for you? How was that working in a world where it's 95% men doing the enforcement work?
I wish I'd kept a book of comments.
Yeah.
I had some great comments over the years, some interesting experiences. You know, you have some problems.
You're tough though, right?
Stories.
Tough.
I was known to be very tough. If you want to get somebody call Amy. I had some pretty good numbers, and I enjoyed it. I mean, but I grew up hunting and fishing, so I had that knowledge of how to catch people, what to look for. I had a partner that used to tell me I had supersonic eyesight, hearing, and smell because I could read a tag when it would pass me in the mirror, in the rearview, I could read it. And
That's
or
wild.
we'd be driving down the road, and I'm like, did you see that guy sitting in that stand with no orange on it, like 50 miles an hour, and hit the brakes? And he's like, what? And we'd back up, and I'm like, yeah, on the back of that field. And he's like, how do you do it? Or I'd hear something, although here they come, and I don't know. It was just kind of a joke with us that, gosh, how do you do that? But I've always been that kid that was really observant and saw things, we'd be driving down the road. Hey, Dad, you see that 8-point? What deer? Turn around and go back and look through the binoculars, and it's an 8-point. It's like, So it was a good career. It was a lot of fun, but
We're going to have to utilize some of that supersonic talent here in the information world. We got to figure that out.
I got to figure out how to put those skills into that. But I saw a lot. It was a challenge. You have to be, two things I've learned. You've got to be tough, mentally tough to handle some of the things. And you got to be thick-skinned because it is amazing what people say about you. And you just,
Were there people, were there guys out there that tried to take advantage of you because you were a female?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah. That happened more than one occasion. And you've got to be situational awareness and got to be officer safety aware and not put yourself in a bad situation. And that was one thing I always put. I want to go home at the end of the night. Even one time I remember I was in a guy was spotlighting and I was trying to catch him. I got his tag number, I've already radioed it, and he ran. You can't outrun the radio. So,
yeah, radio's hard to beat.
So, let's think logically and let's, I want to go home at the end of the night. Now, a lot of times I work 24, 36 straight hours, but I still went home. I want to, go home safe.
Is a big change these days, Amy. I know watching the training, watching the videos that Todd will do or that Jason will do or Barry or somebody goes out and shoots of our guys and gals out there doing training. It's not just about catching fishermen and hunters or that aren't doing what they're supposed to or trying to keep hunters and fishermen safe. Nowadays, they seem to be doing training that has anything to do with hostage situations and drug situations.
Well,
it's all changing.
You're talking to someone who found a meth lab in a duck blind one year. You never know what you're going to come across. We're out there in places that normal police officers are not. And everybody we deal with has a gun, and everybody says, oh, they're just good old boys. Well, you know how many convicted felons I've caught over the years that have attempted to kill someone, or another guy that took a woman hostage or, abducted her? That's the guys we're dealing with, too. So you have to be aware.
They just happen to like to hunt and fish also.
They like to hunt and fish, and even though they've been a convicted felon, they're still out there doing it. Matter of fact, one of the guys I was still working on at the end of my career was a 2-time convicted felon that I'd already caught twice, and we were trying to catch him again.
Yeah.
So it's just, you have to be more aware of what's going on. You catch somebody shooting a dummy deer. I think every time I did that, they're doing some sort of illegal drug when they're doing that, or they're drinking. So that puts another situation into it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, I think more folks are good than bad, but you always have to work out. You have to find those guys that make us all look bad. And that's,
I was asked this the other day. When we started the career, my husband and I both, it seemed like we had more violations. I can remember when bait used to be more of a problem in the county that I was in, and then now. Typically, we're dealing with the good old guy. Or gal out there.
Yeah.
When I first started, it was a rarity. Even when I hunted, oh my gosh, you hunt, and you would see women, and now it's just everyday occurrence, and that's great. I love seeing that because I grew up in a world that nobody hunted women, and but what we're seeing the good gals, the good guys. But there's always job security. I will say that. There's always going to be job security.
no problem there, right?
But your typical hardcore, and I'm going to use the word poacher because that's what they were.
Yeah.
Those have been in decline. I've done some cool warrants on some guys that were your hardcore poachers, and we're not seeing that number of those type of individuals that we used
That's
to.
good news.
That's good, yeah,
It's
real good.
always good. I don't think they'll run out, but it's always
No,
good
no,
that
there's
they're
always job security.
coming back. Yeah. All right, Amy. Let's talk about alligators for a minute.
We have alligators in Tennessee?
Yeah.
Yes, we
Amy,
do.
Amy is our
In West Tennessee, right?
Amy
Yes,
is
West Tennessee.
Amy is our viral poster. A couple of years ago, year and a half ago, she posted 2 deer fighting that you shot on your farm somewhere on a trail cam. Went into about 200 million homes. I got calls from all over the world, all over the country, and parts of the world.
I'm getting ready to replant that food plot too.
Oh, yeah. Here come the dancing deer. Anyway, it did really good, and it was interesting just to see. I don't know why it caught the imagination of so many folks, but 2 deer fighting. But it did. It was a cool video. Well, the other day you posted somebody out on one of our WMAs, I think, shot some video of an alligator on Wolf River.
WMA.
WMA,
Fayette County.
and it went crazy. You would have thought that alligators were downtown Nashville.
Hey, now come on, you got to give me more credit. I've had a couple over $1 million now.
Oh, you have?
Four,
I can't keep up with them all, Amy. I can't keep up with all of them. But I know Matt Cameron, who's your counterpart over in East Tennessee, put another alligator piece up the other day, and it went crazy.
And we went viral on Twitter. For our Twitter, it went viral for sure.
It did.
It did. So what is it about alligators? I look at them personally. I have fished around them in Florida and Alabama. They don't bother me. They just leave me alone. But what is this making people so crazy over these alligators?
I think it's the unknown. And I think people have a tendency to overreact. I've noticed that in my career. It's any situation, the first instinct is to overreact. Let's relax. Let's think about what's really going on here. Alligators are just, we've had them for years. We've had them for about 15 years.
In Tennessee.
In Tennessee.
In your part of the state.
Yes, we've been getting reports. I mean, it was not uncommon to say, hey, we got a report here. We got a report there. Last year, I want to say sometime in the summer, some videos started popping up of one in Hardin County. And none of our officers got it, but, we had several.
What's a county seat of Hardin for folks that might be watching?
Savannah.
Okay, Savannah. All western part of the state.
So we were getting a few reports and some pictures coming in, and okay, that makes sense, and it was a small alligator. But our guys were doing some routine work on Wolf River back in the wintertime, as you can look at the footage, and they saw it. And they were a pretty good distance away. And as you can see, they used their binocular with their cell phone, and that's why the video is shaky. We've had a lot of people question that. And that was the problem there. But they got the video, and as they got closer, it disappeared. Now, we've had reports out of the Wolf area for years because we're talking that's 5 to 7 miles from the Mississippi line. Mississippi has had a very healthy population for the last 15 years. We've had alligators hit and killed on the road. They've been hunting them. They've been seeing them regular. So it was not uncommon for us to say, yeah, we've got one. It's here. Mm-hmm. But the public has just overreacted in some sort of fashion. Oh, it's gonna eat my kids. It's gonna eat my my pets or whatever. No, that they don't. Like you said, they don't bother you when you're fishing in Florida. Well,
or golfing in Florida. I've had
golfing
that.
in Florida. If you look at the stats, it's Florida averages 7 attacks a year. And look at how many alligators are in Florida, how many people are in Florida, how many tourists are in Florida. That comes out to your chances of being attacked roughly 1 in 2.4 million.
Listen, I'd be a lot more concerned going downtown Nashville, Memphis, Knoxville at 2 o'clock in the morning than I'd ever be going around an alligator at any time.
Well, when I prepared for this post to come out, I kind of did some stats. You're more likely to get your chances of dying are more likely from a wasp or a bee sting. Okay, or getting killed by a large mammal such as a horse or a cow, or getting attacked by a dog. Those are more common, according to the CDC that did like a 15-year study. Getting attacked by an alligator is slim. And what we just want people to realize, you can still go out, you can still enjoy the outdoors, enjoy this biodiversity that we have, but just still be careful, be cautious of what's going on. But if the odds of you seeing it are slim because they're going to go away.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's talk with our commission and agency about how they may be handled down the road. Possibly a hunting season. I'm not saying that's going to happen yet right now. Maybe left alone. It just seems to me they're just expanding, and I'm with you. Go to your search engine, look them up, learn about them, And just like while you're there, learn about some snakes and learn about some coyotes, and you're not going to be so scared of them.
You
when
know,
learn about 'em.
that's something I was talking about to one of the non-game guys in the Regional 1 office the other day. I said, I want to start doing some snake ID stuff, put it up there. Which one is the water-banded snake? Which one's the cottonmouth? Because we get that all the time. I kind of get tired of seeing the dead snakes on Facebook. Mm-hmm. I really do. When it's, you got a rat snake and they killed it.
Yeah.
I always think you might as well go out and kill your songbirds. I mean, it's about the equivalent of killing something like that. Why would you do it? Yeah.
My husband was very upset with a post on Facebook the other day that one of our buddies did, and it was a red rat snake, and they killed it. And it was just like, really? And he's like, I'm about to the point to say to all my friends, if you post it, I'm going to come write you a ticket. I'm tired of it.
Yeah.
And it was, it was in their yard. It wasn't hurting anything, but let's chop its head off. Really?
And
Like, come on, guys, let's learn. I've known my whole life since I was a child the shape of a poisonous snake versus a non-poisonous snake. That's one thing that I learned, and that's one thing. I have a 4-year-old. We're teaching him the same thing. The other day, I was showing him a picture of a snake, and we went over that. What do you see? Because he's a very observant child. I give him credit, but we were discussing
It's still hard
that.
to do. If enough folks follow this conversation to where we are right now, there will be somebody that will post, I kill them all.
Yep.
Kill them all. Kill them all. They're
Kill 'em
going to
all.
post it.
A good snake
I
is a
wish they'd
dead
learn.
snake.
Yeah. Wish they'd just learn about them and learn what they're doing is really hurting
But
themselves
that was
by
the
doing that.
same thing we were hearing on the alligator. Kill it, kill it,
Yeah.
kill
Well,
it.
that's the
Trap it,
thing.
move it.
That's the thing people need to understand that in Tennessee, unless there's a season set, you can't kill it, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So, let them go.
Let
you
'em
know,
go. It's the same thing. And
You're breaking the law.
I was surprised with all the comments of "Let's move the alligator."
Yeah.
We can't stop them from coming. They're
Right.
naturally moving up the Wolf River. We can't stop them, and even if we do we have the resources and the manpower to do that? No.
Yeah, it would be incredible.
And then
No.
you're going to get the guy that releases a caiman. I think a caiman's a pet, and
We've
there's
had
other
that.
types of pet.
We've had
alligators
calls of that for years, and you would go out there and it would be a caiman.
I think some of what happened, because they do occasionally attack a person, and you had the child that was killed a couple of years ago in Orlando or somewhere, and I just think that still is hanging around a lot.
But if you go back and you look at that, those animals are in areas where they have been fed.
Mm-hmm.
Even though don't feed the alligators, you see the signs, they get used to humans. They get used to humans feeding them, and then guess what?
Yeah.
That's when you have a problem, and that's what we've been trying to teach everybody. Even if you have one, don't put food out there. Don't leave your I saw this at a Wolf River boat ramp the other day. Somebody had been fishing. They gutted their fish and left all that there. That's what we don't want. Because even if you're leaving that, you're intentionally leaving food, and if there is an alligator there, it's learning that there's a food source at the boat ramp.
Yeah.
Who was it the other day? Brian Thompson, maybe. Somebody compared what y'all have over there now, alligators, to what they've got over in East Tennessee with bears. I mean, you don't have that many alligators yet.
No.
But it's the sort of same situation. They have teeth. They're kind of big. Even though they're not usually aggressive toward people, it scares people to death.
It
But if you
does.
feed them, they can be aggressive.
Can't, exactly. And that's exactly what they're dealing with in East Tennessee. Dan Gibbs is putting up a big advertising campaign to tell people not to feed bears, and you'll save them.
But I was in Gatlinburg, 2 winters ago, for a little family deal, and you're still seeing people leave the trash, not put it in bear-proof containers. We have to teach the people. We have to educate. Animals are animals, and this is what we have to do. But we've lost that knowledge somewhere along the way. I see this all the time, even with people with farm animals. They have lost the basic knowledge and understanding of animal behavior, and it has, I'll go ahead and say it. Disney has made it horrible. I actually wrote a paper on that in college about Disney. It was not the poacher in Disney. It was the hunter in Bambi. So that's a side note. But when kids see animals talking, they don't understand their true animal behavior. And I explain this to my son all the time. We were talking about a dog the other day, and I'm like, what kind of behavior did you see? Were the ears up or were they flat? But kids are not taught that today. So, and then they go into it and they see, oh, it's a bear and it's magical and let's feed it, or no.
It's Mowgli. Is that
Yes.
was that the bear on Jungle Book?
Yeah.
Well, we've been teaching for a long time at this place, and we're always going to be
Still
teaching.
educate.
Forevermore. And we do get a lot of calls, though, from schools wanting us to come out and talk to their kids. And, gosh, I don't know how many I've talked to through my years, and you're going to be doing a lot of that. You probably already have been. But we keep trying. We just hope they keep listening and we get the right bunch.
Yeah, we do a lot of call them skulls and skin programs.
Yeah.
I've done those over the years.
You got a bone box
Yes, I did, and I actually loaned that out, and I made them swear.
to bring your bone
And
box
I actually
back.
didn't give it to just anybody. It
Okay.
was someone I trusted very well
Okay.
to take that particular bone box.
Okay.
But one thing I have seen an increase when we're doing those programs are kids coming up and saying, "Are these dead?
Yeah.
Are they alive?"
Yeah. I've seen
That the first time I heard it, it shocked me, and then I've adjusted over the years, and then we explained to them. But the first time it caught me off guard, but it's common. It's so common now. The kids don't understand that.
Do you come out and do a little puppet show with them?
No, I never do that because then that puts the Disney on it. I've never done that. I've explained, and then they want to know where did you get them, and and then you hear, you got the kids that say hunting is bad, and then you have to correct them. And even my son was watching a cartoon the other day, and said something. It was, of course, I make him watch the classics.
Oh yeah, Bugs Bunny and Elmer
And,
Fudd.
yes, and they were duck hunting.
There you
It
go.
was duck season.
Rabbit season. No, it's duck season.
It was duck season. And he said it's bad to kill ducks. And I said, oh, let's have a little chat. Turn the TV off and we're going to have a chat. Mama was working, but now we're gonna talk about it. And so we had a chat.
Yeah. I've said it for many years. I feel sorry for kids who are raised in an environment where they don't have an opportunity to go fishing or hunting in their life. And we try to make that opportunity available all the time.
Yes.
Our website has a lot of information on that. If you're not a parent that does it, there's ways you get it done. We will mentor your child, but let him or her have the opportunity to see if they like the outdoors and get them away from this thing
Yes.
for a little while. So,
Yes.
but we're always trying. Okay.
So, real quick, since you mentioned that, trying to get the kids out. Underfishing on our website. If you click fishing and then go down under for
It's
the
rodeo
kids.
time.
Yeah,
It
for the
is.
kids. Fishing events for kids are right there, and you can, let me pull that up on the screen. I'm just clicking around. But under fishing, where that little red text is showing up right there on the screen if you're watching. If you're on WZYX, just go to
Hello,
tnwildlife.org.
friends down in Franklin.
Yeah.
Now, they know all about hunting, fishing
they
down
do.
there.
They do
down
for
there.
sure. They do.
tnwildlife.org, click fishing in the navigation bar, and then under that you'll find fishing events for kids, and they're all right there, and it's being updated every day.
But I did an event last year where we brought kids out and introduced them to pellet rifles, to bows,
There you go.
and to shotguns, and that was a success. It was an experiment. We wanted to see how it worked, and I've had a lot of requests from parents in the community. Hey, let's do that again, because it was a situation where they weren't pressured. Oh, my buddy, and it was just laid back. And I will say, in Madison County, I had an amazing group of volunteer hunter safety instructors that. Especially bows and shotguns. Those two guys have been doing it for 30 years, and they are great. And I do plan on trying to do that event again this year.
Okay, keep an eye on our website and our newsroom and our Facebook. Our Facebook is loaded with stuff all the time, and we're trying to figure out ways to get it out there to you in advance so that you know what's going on. Free Fishing Day this year, I think it's June 9th. It's whatever that.
Yep, June 9th. I believe
June
that's
9th,
right.
but there's some fishing events going on before, and there will be some going on after. Just make sure you have the right licenses if you need them. You may not if your kids.
Well, most of the fishing rodeos, they don't have to
kids.
have. Yeah, the kids don't have to have it. And on that webpage, we get this question a lot. I don't see my region listed. Well, they're by region, so you got to click on the appropriate.
Yeah,
tab.
there's a little tab on the side that you can break them out and see
Yep.
the different regional events.
Yeah.
And is it, and correct me if I'm wrong, June 9th through the end of that week
On the kids, yes,
is the free fishing
the
week.
kids can.
Mhm. Kids can fish all week for free.
Yeah, we don't talk about that probably enough, but it's not for adults, but it is for kids. And then the Free Fishing Days for everybody to go wherever. Amy, what over in West Tennessee? What's the big attractions over there outside of alligators? What if you want to come over there and be a sportsman? What are you coming over there for?
Kayaking has become a huge event on Wolf River, of all places. It has been.
They're viewing alligators, right?
Yes, they're viewing alligators. The last couple years, that has been one of our most popular things. I was actually surprised to hear it's such a destination, but it's the Ghost, basically scenic river. So
Ghost River.
Yep.
Yep.
And so a lot of them are coming to kayak that, and it is a very unique experience. And
Is it fast water?
no, it's
slow moving.
slow. Unless the river's up, but it's slow, easy going.
Good fishing river.
Yes, they are catching quite a lot of them are fishing, but that's something in probably the last 5 years that I saw a big change in, where the people that were fishing from their kayaks, instead of using boats. And they were getting into, like, especially Lake Graham, they were getting some of those little back areas that the boats couldn't get into. Man, they would wear out the brim or the crappie. Like right now, Lake Graham, first full moon in May, you can go catch 100.
You have a
bluegill.
lot of, over in West Tennessee, we have a lot of TWRA family fishing lakes, and
Yes.
Lake Graham's right there behind the Region 1 office.
Yes.
It's awesome. Standing timber in it, and
Yes.
beautiful place.
And that's where we've seen the increase in the kayaks. I remember the first one, I was like, what? We got a kayak out here.
And then here they
man,
gain.
it's all the time.
Yeah. Well, and
It's
there's
fun to fish out of those.
They're
It is.
cheap. They're,
You can get them anywhere.
you can get them anywhere. And, it's a workout in itself. And so a lot of people enjoyed that part of it.
Do you have to wear your life jacket?
Yes.
There you go.
Yes.
okay.
That was one thing we ran into.
Yep.
But another thing we're starting to see now, paddle boards. Those are that's the new trend now that we're seeing.
Where they stand up.
I couldn't do
That looks rough to me. Can't hold a fishing pole.
Don't get me doing that.
Yeah.
Well, that's more for recreational and fun.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, they're not fishing.
Yeah. All
I've
right.
seen people do it though.
What about your WMAs over there? What kind of, do you have some great big areas for
We
folks?
have some great some duck hunting areas. We have Reelfoot, we have Tigret. Those are our two big duck holes. Highly sought after. The duck blind drawing will be here the first Saturday in August. Always busy.
What about Natchez Trace? Is that a big area for y'all?
That's a deer hunting area.
Okay.
That's a big deer hunting area, big turkey hunting area. Very popular with the locals, and we'll have people come in from out of state. Those are some stories I could tell you there. Chasing some people from Louisiana. But, we have quite a few people that will come in. And a lot of states do look at us. We, that three deer a day bag limit, like Louisiana, they love to come up here. They'll come up here for a week. They'll kill a bunch of deer. A lot of the guys will go ahead and pack them up and cut them up, and then they take them back home. So it's very popular for people that are big into just eating the deer meat and cutting it up themselves.
Let me ask you this. You made me think about this with CWD going on and cutting deer and all that, and it looks like Tennessee's going to make every state fall subject to our import restriction on deer. How's that going to go over with people? How are wildlife officers going to handle that, do you think?
Well, last 2 years we've been seeing an increase in violations on that. But we as an agency have really been promoting we need to stop this because this is serious. It's not going to get... Man, if we get CWD, we're doomed. You can't get rid of it.
Yeah.
It's here. It's here to stay, and we don't want it. And then with Mississippi showing it positive, it has really hit home because we have... In Shelby County, the processors and a lot of the taxidermists do more from Mississippi or out of state, right there around the Memphis area, than they do anywhere else. The one taxidermist that we dealt with in Fayette County with a violation, those were from Missouri, and he had a bunch of deer that had come in from out of state from other areas. So this is going to be a big message, and I'm big about wanting to push it because we have so many people that travel down I-40 headed out of state, and they're coming through West Tennessee, and I want to do a little campaign on that, but that's the travel corridor for everybody going west.
Yeah, we don't want to get it, and we are going to be enforcing it, and we are going to be letting people know as much as possible. By now, we've done a lot of trying to let folks know. I hope they're understanding it. We have a pretty good post out on our Facebook this week about how serious it is.
It is getting out there in that aspect, but what we ran into with the taxidermist in Fayette County was an older gentleman who doesn't have Facebook, that doesn't do social media, and doesn't look at the hunting guide online. So in that, we almost need to back up and still do the old-fashioned posters and stuff at the stores for people to see it, because not everybody is on iPhones and social media and looking at it.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, and if you know somebody like that because you are on all those things, please help us with the messaging and let them know. What else you got?
I was going to ask her about the ball games. You've been out at the Sounds game, or not Sounds? So what's the team? Jackson Generals.
Jackson Generals.
Yeah,
It is coming up this Saturday. It's TWRA night. We're sponsoring it. We're going to have a patrol boat and do some little kids events after the ball game. We've got some Boy Scouts camping out, and we're going to do a little boating safety program with them. But I've heard from a lot of people. I have not. I've heard it on the radio this week of them pushing TWRA night, and I've heard a couple different people from the public say, "Hey, I saw y'all's banner out at the ball game the other night. I thought it looked good." And I'm like, "Well, that's great."
Cool.
So we have people that have been getting our message there.
Are we doing multiple of those, or what's the plan?
Every home game, they do a little fun game where they'll bring a kid out and they do a game, and they're trying to catch a fish in a net, and they've got a hat on and some big overalls, and they get a fishing rod if they
Awesome.
so they get a fishing rod on that. And then we're doing one night of the boating, but every home game, TWRA is giving away at least one fishing rod.
Cool.
All right. We're starting to run out of time, but is there, Amy, what else do you want to, in the last minute or so, want to say about West Tennessee or what's going on?
Yeah, what's going on out there in West Tennessee? What could people get into?
The fishing on some of our state lakes is really starting to get good right now. If you're a brim fisherman, May is a great time. And, I mean, this is when the guys will come catch 100 at Lake Graham, just because it's right there at our back door. But, man, the fishing is really starting to get good in some of those agency lakes.
All right. And they don't cost very much to go, and $3 or something like that.
$5.
$5. Rent you a boat there if you want to and paddle around. Take your own boat. Just look up the information about what you can and can't do.
Yeah, it's all online. It's in the fishing guide, I'll tell you. And there are some different length, creel limits, and size limits, so you need to double check that. Those lakes can be specific to the area, so double check that.
You've got a sportsman's license, you're in
You're
good shape.
good.
Yeah,
You're
just go. Anyway, Amy, we really appreciate you coming in today, and we'll get you back. We're going to go over your way. Jason, at least, is going to go over your way. A couple quick things, too. You can let it roll. Amy will be at there's a dedication to Shane Hall, May 23rd,
May
Reelfoot,
23rd.
Great man, going to be dedicating a pier over there.
It's a fishing pier, yes.
A fishing pier. And then on the 24th, she'll probably be among you when you gather for the
Asian
Carp meeting
Sport
at
fishing
Paris
meeting.
at the Enoch building. And so she'll be there. And also, if you want to learn a little bit more about what happened at our last commission meeting, we meant to mention this. Go to our website. There's information on air bows out there. If you want to know what the thoughts are on air bows in Tennessee with our commission. And then there's a really good segment on there of all our program managers talking about the changes being proposed on our wildlife management areas.
Yes.
A lot of good information right on the homepage, tnwildlife.org.
Yeah, and don't forget to visit that homepage, tnwildlife.org. All of it's right there, and also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We're out there all the time trying to get the information out to you and keep y'all better informed and help y'all enjoy the great outdoors.
And happy Employment Appreciation Day.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Thank you for what you do, both of you.
Yeah, you too, Jason. All right, Amy, thanks for being on.
Oh, it's fun.
All right, everybody. We got some more talking after we get off this air today, but we'll be back next week to talk to you and get you updated on some things that have happened.
Awesome. We'll see y'all next time.
Thanks for tuning in. Stay connected with TWRA by visiting our website at tnwildlife.org and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Hey, it's all about Tennessee wildlife. It's what we do. Tennessee Wildcast will be on the air again next week. We'll see you then.